Our conversation continues with the fourth mission initiative, and that is develop disciples to serve. And this mission initiative, Steve, as you've articulated to the church, equips disciples, and that's disciples of all ages, in order to be able for them to live out Christ's mission. What is the role of congregations and mission centers and the world church in the developing of those disciples?
Well, I would hope that all aspects of church presence in the world, whether we call it congregation or mission center or world church, which are all interrelated, that all dimensions of the church's organization and presence in the world are focused on developing disciples, as you said, of all ages to serve. And when we say serve, we've already defined the fields of service, if you will. Invite people to Christ, abolish poverty, end suffering, pursue peace on earth. So we are motivating, we're educating, we're spiritually forming, we're giving people experience in all of those mission initiatives so that they can grow in their own involvement in those mission initiatives, from the earliest age to the most experienced senior members of the church. That is a purpose of the church that's essential. We want to equip current disciples and expand the number of equipped disciples who are engaged in the mission of Jesus Christ. After all, if there aren't disciples who are willing to be the eyes and the ears, the hands and the feet of Jesus Christ in the world, then there is no tangible mission being done that people can experience and relate to.
Yes. Sometimes when I travel in congregations, I hear them lament the fact that they don't have any young adults or few young adults, and then sometimes they kind of don't understand how to empower those young adults, not only in the service in the congregation, but in the sending them out into community. Yeah. And I know that the First Presidency has gone through a lengthy dialogue with young adults throughout the church. Could you share some of the insights that you have to help congregations as they assist young adults in developing them to serve?
Well, first of all, the good news is there are a lot of young adults out there who were initially shaped in their faith in the community of Christ. Some of them are involved in congregational life. Some of them are not. Almost all of them are very motivated around the notion of doing mission and not just talking about it. And so we discovered, especially as we talk to young adults who have an affinity for the church, who are connected to the church, but not that involved in congregational life, their real concern is that we start doing what we're talking about and not just talk about it. So if a congregation wants to attract young adults, it'll get involved in mission, and it'll create opportunities for disciples of all ages to be engaged in mission, including young adults. And it will invite young adults to come and be involved in ministries that make a difference in the lives of people in the world. And those young adults will respond when they see that we are serious about it and we're going to be consistent in pursuing the mission. They also perceive that they have a lot to offer the church. And I think they're right. They are educated, they're equipped, they know how to use all the technology to communicate with others, but they feel Now, this is a generalization, so I want to be careful. Some of them feel that they have offered themselves in service and ministry in the congregations, and they have not been given that opportunity, that they were perceived to be too young or not experienced enough, or there was a fear where they might change some things. And so after running up against that wall multiple times, they've gone other places to give expression to their motivation for ministry and mission. So the best thing a congregation can do is invite them into ministry and mission leadership roles, and then provide support, provide mentoring. Young adults are very open to mentors who really care for them and are willing to walk with them as they engage in ministry and mission. So, giving them the opportunity, being serious about mission, providing mentoring, will all produce more response from young adults.
Good. So we're developing disciples to serve. Could you describe what a disciple's behavior, their attitudes, a disciple who's developed and fully immersed in the servant life of Jesus Christ, what would that look like, and what would the result of that be?
Discipleship would be a joy in their lives. It wouldn't be a burden. It wouldn't be a job. It wouldn't be something to show up for every now and then. They would be so immersed in discipleship that their whole life has become whole in Christ. They would be involved in ministries that are aligned with their gifts. So whatever their passion is, what their gift is, then they found a way to express that in ministry, and that brings a great deal of joy and meaning. I think they would be generous, and what we do with our money is one of the best indicators of what is really important in our lives. So I think they would be supporting the mission initiatives locally and globally through their generosity, and they would experience that as something that is deeply spiritual, not just putting money in an offering envelope, or not just carefully calculating what to send through online giving. It would be a whole life response. And the promise of the Scriptures is what I think would be true. You'll have the joy, the hope, and the peace of Jesus Christ in your own life and relationships.
Yes, absolutely. So you've touched on the generosity, both in the sharing of the invitation and the sacraments, and obviously the sharing of our financial means. And so if someone gave to this mission initiative, how would that expand the help a way we develop disciples?
Sure. Well, there are a number of possibilities in terms of the support and ministries that could be funded. An example of what has already occurred through generosity is the Disciples Formation Guide that's on the church's website that provides resources and lesson plans and activity ideas and links for activities for all age groups. What we've typically called Christian education, but it's more expansive now. That Disciples Formation Guide was developed out of the generosity of people who wanted to see more excellent Christian education or disciple formation in the church, especially in congregational life. So we would be able to expand those kinds of offerings, resources to help with spiritual formation, resources to help with priesthood training and faithfulness to one's call. All of those are possibilities that could be fulfilled and be increased through generous giving to this particular mission initiative. Training for pastors, very critical need, not just for pastors, but for whole congregational leadership teams. We could do a lot more. We could provide much more support for pastors, priesthood, and members of all ages.
Good. Thank you, Steve, for sharing your thoughts about developing disciples to serve. And next we will move on to experiencing congregations in mission.